You can spend six figures a year to park a golf cart in traffic, or you can retire where rents sit in the lower lanes for Florida's coast. Crime trends lower in small towns, and the loudest HOA is a flock of pelicans. That's the split. Florida's median home price hovers a bit above the US, and hurricane insurance is a real line item, so value matters. Today, we're counting 10 towns that trade status for sanity. Walkable blocks, water access, quirky arts, real neighbors, and cities that actually plan for storms. Stay to see the 72 Tugarich River routine and a council that proudly welcomes weird. Let's start on the anti-brochure coast. Number 1. Yankeetown. Forget the address. This is about coordinates. Yankeetown sits where the road runs out and the Withlacoochee River drinks the Gulf. No downtown, no traffic light, just a river bend, a boat ramp, and a sense you've reached the edge of the map. Your status here isn't a car, it's a Carolina skiff with a reliable trolling motor. The local uniform is sun-faded caps and shoes that know mud. You don't come for events, you come for the tide. The social calendar is written in mullet runs and redfish tides. Homes don't posture. They're built on stilts and quiet streets, screened by live oaks and a shared understanding of privacy. You'll find weathered ranches and modern boxes all facing the water, because the view is the only amenity that matters. Median prices linger in the low $300,000. You're buying a launch point, not a lifestyle package. The trade-off is baked in. Your big box store is a 30-minute drive. Your doctor is a road trip. Your excitement is a storm front, or a manatee nosing your dock. Crime is what a raccoon does to your trash cans. It's not for everyone. It's for someone who measures wealth in sunsets caught and repairs done with your own hands. Mini payoff. Yankeetown isn't a place you retire to. It's a place you retire into. The rhythm of the river. The silence after the outboard cuts. Do this if your dream is self-reliance salted with Gulf spray. Pass if you need a food delivery app or a sidewalk. Our next stop makes space for weird on purpose. Number 2. Gulfport. Shift from salt flat quiet to a place that puts personality on the agenda. Gulfport. Artsy, walkable, HOA averse. A city council that welcomes weird on purpose. That's not marketing, that's policy. Population sits near 11,783, so it feels like a small city with a long porch. And the big sell? You can live here without bowing to beige rules. You want community and walkability without the HOA sermon. Gulfport gives you front porch hellos, a real main street, and errands you can do on foot. Walkability score, 74. Side streets keep speed low. Crosswalks actually get used. You can meet a neighbor, grab coffee, and hit the bay in one short loop. Artsy towns can be pricey or chaotic. Which one is Gulfport? Here's the thing, it threads the needle. Cost of living runs about 6% above national, and one-bed rent lands around $1,500 a month. Think Honda Civic money, not sports car payments. You trade car time for shoe time, and your step count goes up without a gym bill. Nights bring open mics and porch concerts. Weekends spin up live music, art walks, and a waterfront park that people use, not just photograph. Crime trends lower than St. Petersburg next door, which matters when you plan to walk after dinner. You get the salt air and the street lamps, minus the shrug-it-off risk. Governance leans practical with a civil rights streak. You see it in inclusive events and mundane but vital services, trash picked up, drains cleared, storm messaging that treats you like an adult. Now the kicker. Parking gets tight, and mosquitoes do intervals. You plan around both and move on. So the payoff? A budget-conscious coastal vibe where you age with culture, not just amenities. Your week can be yoga on the lawn, a bookshop chat, and live music steps from home. If you're eyeing coastal calm with a plan behind it, keep going. Number 3. Punta Gorda. Shift from street art to storm smarts. Punta Gorda. Climate-forward calm that's built on lessons learned. Solar on public buildings, bikes on patrol, and a yacht club that doubles as social glue. Population lands near 20,000 with a median age around 65, so the town plans for retirees and then actually delivers. You want coastal life without the coastal panic. Not the sandbag sprint, not the blown budget insurance spiral, just a steady town that treats storms like a math problem and daily life like a routine worth keeping. After big storms, did they actually learn or just rebuild the same risk? Here's the thing. After Hurricane Charlie in 2004, The Civic Corps went for stronger codes and smarter sighting, then kept going. You feel it in the way services hume after rain and how streets drain without drama. LEED-certified city buildings signal the mindset. Hardened infrastructure backs it up. Elevated gear, reinforced utilities, and grid segments that fail less and reset faster. Solar-powered public spaces aren't decoration. They keep basics online. Greenways stitched through neighborhoods so you can pedal to errands or roll a morning loop that feels safe. Cost of living sits about 5% above national. One-bed rent averages near $1,400 a month. Crime runs about 41% lower than the US average, which matches how it feels to walk downtown after dinner. Air quality? Among the cleanest in Florida by index, so lungs and long walks get along. Downtown is tidy and useful. Banks, groceries, hardware, clinics. Not a fake set, a working core. You can age in place without driving an hour for basics. So what's the trade-off? Slower nightlife. Seasonal swell when snowbirds land. Insurance still matters, but the planning tempers the chaos. Think reliable sedan over finicky sports car. You spend less time at the shop and more time on the road. If your routine runs on steady mornings and predictable systems, the next stop swaps salt for spring water and turns the thermostat to a steady 72. Number 4. Dunalin. Trade tides for springs and swap noise for a clear lane upstream. Dunalin River Therapy at 72 degrees. Your daily ice bath, but it's a river and it's pleasant. 72 degrees year-round. You crave low costs and blue-green water more than tiki bars. You want a morning that starts quiet, a body that thanks you, and a budget that doesn't hiss every time the mail shows up. That's the lane here. Can a tubing town be peaceful, or is it chaos 9 months a year? Here's the thing, the pulse runs on seasons. Weekdays hum, weekends spike. Locals note it's manageable if you plan your hours and know the side streets. Rainbow River is the star. Clear lanes that act like kayak highways. Springs that keep that 72-degree promise, even when the sun bakes the grass. Manatees slide through when the water cools and the crowds thin, and you learn to spot the swirl before the back breaks the surface. Ocala National Forest, roughly 387,000 acres, sits within day-trip distance for shaded trails and a reset when the river's busy. Keep the money talk simple. Median home prices run lower than big coast zip codes, and rents tend to land in the approachable range, but availability swings with seasons. Verify before you pack the truck. Safety? The small-town feel holds. Crime concerns don't drive the story here. The river does. It's not sterile, just calm. Think base model with the best engine. No leather seats, but the thing runs forever. Now the trade-offs. Seasonal surge means parking fights and floaty brigades at the main access points. Streets load up after lunch, then empty fast when school starts and temps drop. After hours, crickets win, and the river goes glassy. The payoff is a cheap, healthy routine with nature as the amenity stack. Paddle at dawn, swim a lap midday, grill before sunset. If you like your wellness built in, the next stop keeps the calm and layers in organization and services. Number 5. Safety Harbor. Shift to a bay town that runs on steady systems and quiet mornings. Safety Harbor. Calm with infrastructure. Salt caves, healing springs, and a downtown that feels like a Sunday. Population sits around 18,000, which keeps the scale human. Crime runs about 47% below the US average, so the evening stroll actually feels like a stroll. You want walkable, safe, and organized, without full luxury pricing. This is that lane. Streets line up clean. Crosswalks make sense. You can do coffee, pharmacy, and the bay on one short loop and never break a sweat. Nice coastal suburb often equals wallet pain and traffic headaches. Here's the thing. You pay more than inland, but you get order, not chaos. Lights are timed, cops are present without being loud, and the city calendar leans calm instead of carnival. Median home price hovers near $425,000, and a one-bed rents around $1,550. Cost of living runs about 8% above the national baseline. Honda Civic upgrade, not luxury badge. Low crime sets the mood. A tidy main street holds small shops and steady diners. Pocket parks break up the blocks, so you can sit in shade, then keep moving. The Bayfront Boardwalk gives you a daily lap with wind and birds, not blaring speakers. Wellness extras, springs, salt rooms, add the spa note without the retreat bill. Infrastructure is the quiet star. Trash goes on time. Drains clear after rain. Street trees get trimmed before they turn into a problem. Access to big health systems is fast, with regional hospitals within short drives, which matters more than a glossy brochure when you need it. So, what's the trade-off? Price. You spend a bit more for the zip code and the calm. The payoff is a lower pulse rate, plus services that just work. If that sounds like your pace, the next stop swaps bay breezes for lake air and leans harder into small-town charm with an events calendar to match. Number 6. Mount Dora. The Florida town that cosplays as New England and somehow pulls it off. You want charm, antiques, and a calendar of small-town events? Mount Dora gives you front porch talk, a real downtown grid, and lake air that cools afternoons. Streets bend around old oaks, shops keep odd hours because the owner is the staff. You walk for coffee and end up at a gallery because that's how the day drifts here. Quaint can equal tourist trap or inflated costs. Here's the thing. The math lands sane. Population sits around 16,600. Cost of living runs about 3% above the national average. One-bed rents hover near $1,350, and median home prices sit just north of $400,000. Lake charm without ocean premiums. Weekends bring browsers and lawn chairs. Then the town exhales by Monday morning. Crime runs about 38% lower than the US average, which matters when most nights end with a porch light and a book. The calendar leans heavy on festivals and low-key spectacle, art shows that fill the streets, antique shops that outnumber gas stations, and yes, a Scottish bagpipe parade that treats Main Street like a drumline. It's kitsch with competence. You trade nightlife for community clubs and porch culture. Think potlucks, garden swaps, and amateur bands that practice loud but end early. The social map is simple. Wave, chat, repeat. If your ideal Friday needs velvet ropes, this isn't your lane. If it's board games and a slice, you're home. Care is close by in bigger city hubs, a short drive away. So specialists are within reach. Parking? Let's call it enthusiastic, one-way streets that test your patience on festival days. Property taxes and insurance still matter, but they don't swing like oceanfront. Mini payoff safe, storybook rhythm at a sane price. From here, the mood shifts from postcard bright to older brick quiet, where an opera house and long porches set the tone. Number 7. Monticello. Opera house in a town that likes its porches, its oaks, and its ghosts. You want character, not commotion, and a mortgage that sleeps at night. Monticello delivers that old county cadence where front steps still do half the social work, and street shade makes August human. You get history without the theme park markup, and a house that doesn't pace the room when rates twitch. Rural charm can mean thin services and long drives. Here's the thing. You plan a week at a time and keep a list. That's the trade. In return, you get a street where horns stay quiet, and you know which porch light means the coffee's still on. Numbers that help your blood pressure. Population just under 2,700. Median home price around $250,000. Average rent near $950,000. Average rent near $950 for a 2-bed. Crime runs about 35% below the US average. Cost of living sits roughly 15% under national. Let that sink in. That mix makes your spreadsheet exhale and your calendar open up. Because time feels cheap when you're not chasing bills. The sense of place is the draw. The courthouse circle is a compass you use by habit. Slow coffee is a sport. And no one rushes you off the stool. Spanish moss, wraparound porches, and buildings that look like they've read more than you have. Southern Gothic but friendly. But here's the twist. Fewer amenities sit on your block. The good news is, Tallahassee is a short hop west for healthcare, big box runs, and the random thing you forgot. You keep the quiet and borrow the depth when you need it. Mini payoff. Affordable, dignified quiet with culture that's low volume but real. The opera house lights up now and then, the oaks keep secrets, and your budget holds the line. From steady inland rhythm, we head for salt and working docks where community is the safety net. Number 8. Cedar Key, a working Gulf island where oyster shucking beats HOA meetings. Population hovers around 700, which means you'll learn names fast and gossip faster. You want water out your front door and neighbors who show up with a drill. You want a town where tide tables set the day, and the coffee shop knows the forecast before the weather app blinks. No traffic lights, no Starbucks. Boats thump pylons for background noise. Errands fit between tides, not traffic. Hurricanes are not a theory here. So why do people stay and thrive? Here's the thing. Risk is priced in, but community lowers the real cost. People pick a street for the wind angle, strap down the grill, and know which door to knock when the power flickers. Fear gets replaced by a plan. Crime runs about 60% below the US average, which tracks with nights where crickets carry the soundtrack. The core is tight. A few blocks hold docks, cafes, and studios. Tourism, seafood, and artists keep the lights on. Clam aquaculture is a real employer, and yes, Clamfest is a thing. You can buy fish, walk to a show, and be on a pier before the ice melts. Local art leans salty, not gift shop cute. Money talk, clean. Median home price sits near $330,000. Average rent lands around $1,200 for a simple place. Cost of living runs just under the national average. Insurance is spiky and demands a buffer. Think reliable used truck with higher tires. You pay up front, then it just works. Community resilience is the asset. Locals rebuild fast, share tools, and know the wind maps by heart. Services are thin. Clinic, small store, short list. But the trade-up is intimacy and sunrise over marsh flats that never gets old. Mini payoff, authentic island life at human scale, with eyes wide open on risk. Keep that lens. The next stop shows what happens when a city turns planning into a climate playbook. Number 9. Vero Beach, the Atlantic, minus the noise you don't want. This is the Treasure Coast, gateway to the tropics, with a city motto that actually holds sunrises, not high-rises. You want beach days, art fairs, and a line item that doesn't explode. You're not chasing VIP decks. You want a normal Tuesday that smells like salt and coffee. In-town pockets in Vero give you that lane without the gold-plated HOA sermon. Walk to errands, cross a few quiet blocks, and you're on sand before your phone loads. East Coast means higher risk and higher price, usually. Here's the thing. When you shop the older stock and the right blocks, the math flattens. Median home price sits around $348,000, and 36% of residents are 65 or older, so services tilt toward your calendar. You skip the marquee premiums and still get the breeze. That's the trick. Trim the rental guesswork. Focus on verified listings and condo fees instead of hearsay bans. The angle is picking buildings with sane reserves and no wild assessments. Culture shows up without screaming for attention. McKee Botanical Garden gives you jungle green shade and water lilies. Vero Beach Museum of Art brings rotating shows and classes. Riverside Theater runs a real season, not just community night. Natural coastline is policy here, not accident. So views are trees and dunes, not towers. Crime varies by block, but pick well and evening walks feel fine. Health systems sit close. Doctor days don't eat the weak. The trade-offs? Insurance swings and seasonal traffic. Storm years write their own chapters. Sundays can clog the causeways. Mini payoff. Atlantic living at a middle price with real culture and quiet mornings. Hold that frame. Next, we stack this human-scale lane against the big brand version and see what truly buys happiness at 7 p.m. So here's the close. Florida draws retirees for a reason. Warm weather, tax perks, and lots of choice, which is why the right block matters more than the brochure. Think tangible wins. We covered Gulfport's walkable core and rents near $1,500 for a one-bed. Safety Harbor's low crime and steady services. Cedar Key's $330K median homes with a street-level safety net. Vero's $348K median and Sunrise's not high-rises vibe. Different lanes, same goal. Predictable costs, real community, less noise. Comment Instagram or actual with your pick. Like this so the algorithm behaves. Subscribe because someday you'll want a map that skips the hype and finds the Tuesday towns.